Hello, my lovely seekers and finders, and welcome to the Way of Truth number 71. 71. So today's March 1st, 2026, Sunday, 11 a.m. p.m. p.m. 11 p.m. PST. I'm sorry. This is the time where I usually do my bi-weekly Satsangs. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Artem Boytsev. I'm a non-duality teacher. I live in Northern California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I teach the way to liberation through a combination of meditation, direct transmission, inquisitive dialogue, and compassionate presence. I host meditation and integration retreats. I provide guidance and support over WhatsApp, over video, and text, and I also see students at my home. So if you're close by, you can come visit me. So this website contains a rather large collection of writings of mine on the topic of awakening and spiritual enlightenment, and also provides links to our community and to ways to schedule one-on-one sessions with me if you want. All right, so these are bi-weekly satsangs, which I do on YouTube. They also transmitted on Instagram. And if you want to participate, by far the best way to do that is to join live. So we have one guest in the studio right now. His name is Karim. I will bring you up in a few minutes. I have some announcements to make. So, but if you wish to join like he did, this is the link. And I can also bring it. Actually, you can even use the QR code here. And if you follow this link, it's a browser-based software. All you need is a browser and webcam, and we can have a conversation. So I always say that the more direct the interaction is, the better. So, but if for whatever reasons you don't want to do that, you can also post comments to a YouTube chat, and I will see them on screen. I'll be able to bring them up and address them. So speaking of, I have a couple of news. So speaking of more direct interactions. So the first very exciting bit of news is that we have finalized the dates for our retreat in May. So it's going to happen on the weekend from May 15th to May 18th. So it's going to take place in the same venue that many of you are familiar with. I think it's like fifth time or something like that we're doing retreats there. It's a absolutely gorgeous property with a big lake. It's in Oregon House, California. Very beautiful. So we have spaces for about 12 to 15 people. That's usually the preferred size of our retreats. So if you have never experienced a retreat before, and if you can afford it, if you can travel, I highly recommend you doing that. You can ask on the Discord community if you can join the Discord community if you're not a part of it, and there's a channel retreat, so you can ask there of past participants of what the experience is like. It is, needless to say, much more impactful than anything on video and text. There's physical presence, which is somehow, I don't know how, nobody knows how, but but somehow it transmits, it affects. And then there's also a community. We do a lot of very impactful exercises and workshops. There's a sense of belonging, the sense of being unconditionally accepted and loved, and the sense of honesty. So it's a very beautiful gathering. We do some real work there, real spiritual work. It's not just a feel-good retreat. It can get intense, but it's also very liberating, and for many people very transformative. So once again, I mean, I think this is like sixth or seventh retreat, and every time I have such a blast. I see so many beautiful openings and transformations that I could advertise it for a very long time. But if you can, I mean, if it's a possibility for you, then I urge you to consider it. So once again, it's going to take place from May 15th, 18th in Northern California, in Oregon House, California. That's the name of the city. The announcement is on Discord, and it was also sent to the mailing lists. If you need any more information, you can also join Discord. It's there, or you can email to us at retreats@truefreedom.org. Then another bit of news is that we have started doing private satsangs on our Discord server, and by private I mean not recorded. So we do it through Google Meet, so everybody's face, and it's not just me like in this YouTube public satsangs, but everybody's face there. So it's exclusively for the members of our Discord community. Those are donation-based events, and we got some very good feedback. So we're going to continue to do that. So if you wish, it's somewhat different than this event. I mean, here I mostly talk and answer questions. There we'll also meditate. It's a kind of it's a different feel because you see everybody's faces. It's a real-time conversation. So last time about 14, 16 people came, and the feedback was very positive. So we're going to continue to do that. So if you're looking for a space which is more intimate, more private, not recorded, and also a sense of community, even though it's not in person, it's on video, but it still works very well. Then I encourage you to also join our Discord community, and we're going to be doing them every second Saturday at 1 p.m. PST. So the next one is going to be this upcoming Saturday. So yeah, and I will also post a link to my community. Okay, so here's the link to the Discord community if you're interested in private satsangs. We also started with a short meditation, and so the topic of the next one is going to be inquiry. Okay, and I mean emotional inquiry, not self-inquiry. Maybe we can do that one of other times. All right, so okay, so that's it for the announcements. So I will now bring Karim to the stage. Hi, Karim.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I wanted to talk about like some realization that I've been having, because it is, we've had a discussion before, and I said it is the most interesting game in the world, and it is, I think, at least for me. And man, it's crazy to see. Well, first off, doesn't it feel like when you're, I don't know how to describe it, like at a certain depth of realization, it's like you're always on magic mushroom.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it
Yeah,
feels like.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
That's how it feels like. Or I mean, depending on like to me, because I didn't use as much magic mushrooms before, but to me it just felt like it was a never-ending LSD trip, and other realized people describe it the same way. I think
Right.
Teja Anand also described it similarly. Like he said to me, it feels like a never-ending, not too friendly LSD trip. Osho said enlightenment is like continuously living on LSD. I mean, to me,
Right.
there is no fundamental difference between LSD and magic mushrooms. So yeah, so it feels like, so when the abiding awareness happens, it feels like the trip never ends, and not in the way of
Yeah.
kind of that it's visually distorted all the time. Although even that could happen, even some visual distortions could happen. But the visual distortions on psychedelics is just when it's kind of when it's very intense, the visual distortions happen. So, but from the perspective of kind of continued insights and continued emotional excavation and going deeper and deeper and like falling deeper and deeper into yourself. Yeah, it feels like you never get out of the trip. Yeah.
Yeah. And even like this aspect of like, okay, that's gonna sound weird the way I'm gonna describe it, but it's like you're here, but you're not there. You know,
Mhm.
you get what I'm saying? You're here, but you're not there. It's like the experience, like just the life matrix reality experience. It's like somewhat like that. It's like you're here, but you're not there. Even though like you're fully here with everything and your emotions and stuff, but there's some part of me that's not there.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. Okay, good.
That's
And
the unmanifest part. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and isn't it? Because this aspect that I want to talk about now is like I haven't seen many people talk about that, and it's the sort of like it's so weird because it really becomes like a sort of game reality, like a very uncomfortable game, right? But still a game, and you kind of see stuff in your life adjusting to your new level of consciousness. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, okay, so it's sort of like you start to understand the paradigm of what God is, but there's no separation. There's no limit from you and God. But it's like everything sort of adjusts, and it's like whatever is needed for you is just being given in order for you to go even deeper in the depth of your process, which is never ending, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Again, not crazy. Okay.
No.
And and the biggest thing that I've realized from this whole process is that even though the biggest, let's use the word practice, is to feel, yet in the end, it's not about feeling that creates this, I don't know how to call it, this experience, this enlightenment, right? It's about the fact that you know, the word that they use, disidentify. So it's the fact that you, because you know, I feel so much fear still, you know, so much sadness still from past traumas. Yet it doesn't. I still feel like I'm deeply. I don't know how to call it. You get what I'm saying? Please try to
Yes.
tell. Try to say what I'm trying to say.
Yes, but I would like to make a couple of comments. So it is not about feeling when it comes to uh, disidentification with the ego. Yes, but but the feeling is important because the feeling covers lies. The feeling covers still unacknowledged false beliefs. And actually, the ego is made of lies. The ego is made of false beliefs, and so it is kind of
Mm,
supported by the well of unprocessed emotions. So we could even say that the disidentification happens when you are ready to feel deeper. Just disidentification is not the goal. Disidentification is just what allows you to look at yourself from the outside, basically, and
yeah,
uncover and dissolve the lies that the mind is telling you about yourself.
yeah. I guess what I'm saying is that it seems like on the on this path, like it seems like the second major step after awakening is just getting to the point of humility where you don't resist anymore. And it's like
That's
it's
right.
just
Yes.
right. So it's like it takes a lot of time to get there, but it's like once you're there, even though like what you said is 100% accurate, it seems like what makes it that you end up having this experience of this like sort of like um, magic mushroom experience is the fact that you don't resist anything at all anymore. It's like you just you accept whatever comes up like just all the time.
Yes, that's always the practice, but oftentimes it does come up with initial resistance. You know,
Yeah,
what if we're talking about spiritual practice specifically, if we're talking about like meditation and other revealing spiritual experiences in life, then uh, when you have like absolutely zero resistance to anything, nothing feels unpleasant, and pretty much nothing comes up. The only thing that
yeah,
the only reason that things feel unpleasant is that there is some resistance to them. So so I think it's important to not kind of uh, try to have non-resistance as goal, but rather accept the resistance when it happens, and then work through the resistance, and then there is an opening, and then there's a relief, and then
yeah,
there is deeper seeing. But it's very natural for for as long as something unpleasant still needs to come up. It's very natural to have some resistance in it. I mean, how else, right? So
yeah,
that's normal. I mean, you can say that it's a process of continue continuing loosening of the resistance.
yeah, yes, yes, exactly that. And it seems like it's cyclical, and it
Yep.
seems like whenever there's going to be, yeah, and it seems like whenever there's going to be like you're going to like level up, like get into a deeper depth, there's the dark night of the soul that happens. It's just like the shittiest moment, and it's like inevitable. It's like it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen again and again because it's part of the cycle, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then it's what's fascinating is to see then after that your life, your external circumstances, they align with the new sort of depth that you have, and it's like I feel like that's what the the manifestation stuff is really. It's like because you allow more of yourself, life sort of like automatically gives you more, you know.
I mean, I probably
At least
wouldn't.
it's been my experience.
Yeah, I mean, manifestation is a nuanced topic. I probably wouldn't describe it as life automatically gives you more, because it could be misleading for many people, because you see, it's still not without effort. It's
What do you mean by effort?
I mean that uh, like, if you just lock yourself in your house right now and do nothing but meditation, and uh, uh, increasing your level of consciousness, it's not like people are suddenly going to queue outside of your house to bring you food. And you see, so it's like, uh, so still, I mean, you still need to do something, right? So the way that I
Yeah,
prefer to talk about manifestation is more in line of your perception becoming closer to reality, and
hmm,
as such, you kind of stop limiting yourself, and stop limiting yourself and not taking the opportunity which you could take, or stop being afraid of going for what you truly want, right? And
yeah,
doing in life what you truly want. uh
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so kind of uh and so life becomes more of what you wanted, but you also stop arguing less with the aspects of life which are not what you want. So it's a kind of a process of merging, of of reality and your perception of reality merging into one, right? But it's very but
yeah.
it's not
Okay,
like,
yeah,
sometimes so oftentimes what we think how life will give us what we want in the future is actually not what we want, but what the ego wants.
Yeah, yeah,
And so manifestation
yeah.
is a complicated topic. Yeah, it's easy to come up with a kind of a distorted idea of manifestation, as if, I will attain some spiritual attainment, and then I won't have to do anything. I won't have to exert effort, and everything that I currently want will become my reality. That's actually oftentimes, if a person views manifestation this way, then they're in for a huge disappointment.
Yeah. I guess I've expressed myself not clearly enough because, for me, like being lazy or not doing anything is not natural, even. It might be for a while, it might be like a phase, but it's not natural. And the biggest thing that also comes up on this process is the part of consciousness is sort of like the consciousness to act. It's like, you're being, I don't know, that's the way the story is in my head, that I'm saying it to myself, but it's like you're being guided. It's like you're being sort of inspired and whispered everything that you need to do at all time.
Right.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A connection
But that
to your
I don't know why
intuition.
it's not. Sorry,
A
what did you
connection.
say? Sorry.
A connection to your higher intelligence. A connection to your intuition. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know
Yeah.
why it's not being talked that much in the spirituality because it's, consciousness, like awakening, like enlightenment is very much pragmatic. It's like very much practical. It's just like hands on, like what do you need to do like every moment? You're going on a walk. What walk, where do you want to go and where you want to turn left or right, But it seems like oftentimes those sort of choices, when they're conscious, they end up leading you towards the best outcomes. It seems
Yes.
like,
Yes. No.
yeah.
That is very true. Yes. That is very true. So if we talk about this in this context, this is very true. Yeah. Because a lot of thoughts on the level of the mind are actually not true at all. These are conditioned
Yeah.
values
Yeah.
and conditioned settings.
Oh
And
yeah.
so when we start kind of trusting the intuition, when we start trusting life, when we start trusting an intelligence that is higher than the ego's intelligence, then we oftentimes get a very different outcome. Yeah, and it can be scary in the beginning.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's a sort of by default thing. It's a natural result to stop resisting what you're feeling, or accepting what is. It's not even like something that you end up grabbing onto something new. It's just a natural result of this process.
Yes, that's right.
But it's very difficult because I was trying to explain that to one of my friends who's been, like he's like shooting himself in the foot like all the time. He was talking about like a girl that he was hung up with. But it's like, how can I explain? Sorry, it's like, how can I explain that to someone? It's like, it's like I was wanting the best for him, and like, bro, you're just. It's like I was trying to say, you're just purely acting on conditioning and fear, and it's like definitely not the way that you're really respecting yourself like that. I don't know, how do you sort of share that wisdom with someone? You know, you're a teacher, so I guess you probably deal with that all the time.
Well, uh, one of the very first thing that I had to learn when I became a spiritual teacher, and it was a painful thing to learn, and it took me some time, is uh, to to not try to teach people who don't want to be taught.
Yeah.
So most people are not ready to hear that, and most people are not going to be uh, open to receiving some new information or deeper insight. I mean, this is a question of personal maturity and the level of openness. So if the person isn't ready, it doesn't matter how profound or insightful or abiding or purified the teacher is. So it is important to meet people where they are. It is important not to try to teach those who don't want to be taught. And reality is going to teach you those lessons because some people are going to react very poorly, and yes, sometimes you can kind of implant a hint here and there, and you know sow the seeds, so to speak. But still, everybody's on their own journey of their own transformation, and uh, there's this persistent quality of the illusion. The illusion has this quality that until you're ready to see through it, it feels like truth. And
Yeah.
seeing through the illusion is a rather difficult process, and many people only come to this stage when they feel like there is nowhere left to go. When they feel like when life corners them into the situation where it becomes the only choice. You see, most people live their
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
life without ever glimpsing beyond the illusion. So it's very, if it was easy, there were so many uh, popular teachers, and I'm not even talking about people like Osho or others, but I'm talking about popular teachers from whose teachings people created religions. So Jesus, Buddha, they were just teachers. It's nothing else. They were not gods. And so the result is, so we have religions, but but we don't have many awakened people that follow these teachings and become awakened. So if it was that easy, you know, to help
Yeah.
somebody, then we would be living in the very different world. Unfortunately, the sad part of reality is that, I mean, you can say it's a sad one, but there's certain beauty to it too. Is because on some level, that's entirely the person's choice. On some very deep
But at
unconscious
the same
level,
time, it doesn't even feel like a choice. Also,
right? But
you
it's
know.
it's it's a different perspective, right? So from the egoic perspective, it's not a choice. From a truer perspective, you can say from the perspective of the highest self, it is a choice. And so many people just simply aren't ready. Most people simply aren't ready.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, well, well. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for showing up. And I just want to. I mean, I have a few comments. I don't actually have many guests, but I have a few comments, and I would like to address them.
For sure.
But thank you. It was a great conversation. I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much, brother. I
Sure.
love you, man.
I love you too, my friend. Thank,
Hi.
thank you. Thank you. Best of luck to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
All right. So that was Karim. Okay, so I have a few questions, a few comments. So yeah, we don't have any more guests. So if you would like to participate live, just come and use this URL, and we'll be able to speak. Okay, but let's see what comments do I have. So Why does fear bring scary illusions? Makes us see and hear things that aren't there. Yeah, that's a good question. It has something to do with the nature of the mind. Uh, so, so basically, the mind. You can think of the mind as something that uh, has two functions, so to speak, and one is to explain to you why you are feeling this way or why you are behaving this way, and another is to try to hide certain feelings from you, and those things are interconnected. So that's why there are so many lies in the mind. That's also why the mind is very talkative, because believe it or not, when something is obviously true, you don't talk about it too much. You see, it's not like uh, you don't go out and see blue sky and say, "Oh, the sky is blue," and then the mind goes, "Is it really? Maybe it's another color, or or you don't have an argument in your mind when something is raining, when it's raining outside, for example. Is it raining or is it not raining? When it's obvious, it is obvious, but we do ruminate a lot about ourselves and about other people, and there's a lot of argument with reality in our mind, in, in our minds. So what the mind does is it very expertly creates false ideas and false beliefs in order to justify or explain what is it that you're feeling. And um, in kind of daily situations, it can be rather innocent mistakes that a lot of people fall into. Like, for example, something happens with in your relationship with another person, or even somebody cuts you off in traffic, and you immediately become angry, and you immediately begin to believe the narrative that this person did this on purpose, or they don't respect you, or like some narrative of the personal kind is believed in this situation, and later actually you might learn that they had a reason to behave this way, or you misinterpret the situation. But that's a kind of a impulse of the mind to explain the anger, to justify the anger, because we have been suppressing our emotions so routinely and for such a long time that in the dream state is basically a state of very deep, it's a state of being lost very, very deeply, right? Being lost to the extent that you identify with the character that doesn't actually exist even in reality, right? So it doesn't even occur to the mind, to the dream state, that this reaction can have something to do with the long suppression, or with the past, or with some false beliefs. It doesn't even occur to the mind usually, and so the immediate impulse is something is happening right now that explains this anger, let's say, or fear. And so when the fear becomes very intense, and on the spiritual path, the fear can be very, very, very intense. The mind can go to tremendous ways in order to justify, in order to explain why you're feeling the fear right now. You see, so I had people, and I gave this examples before. So right, some people are convinced that somebody's following them. Police is after them, FBI is after them. Everybody has their own favorite fear, right? Maybe I ate something, or I'm about to die, or something's going to happen. Maybe there's going to be a natural disaster. Maybe, oh, it feels like I'm dying. Maybe I have cancer. There are lots of stories. People are watching me. Somebody's following me. Everybody's looking at me. Funny trees are looking at me. Birds are looking at me. So there could be a lot of very different narratives that exist in the mind in order to explain why the fear is happening now, even though the fear is about the past. The fear is about the past. It's about seeing more of the composition of the ego. It's about surrendering to life. It's about letting go of your own self-perceptions, your wrong self-perceptions. But it feels like it's happening right now. I mean, it is happening right now. It feels like the story is about something that is happening right now. And interestingly, the more intense the fear is, the more believable the stories will become. You see, because those are two sides of the same process. Believing the story and the intensity of an emotion that doesn't have anything to do with what's going on right now, but has something to do with the past, the intensity of this emotion and the strength in which you believe the story, even if it's just a temporary story that was concocted by the mind right for this moment. Those are connected. So it's very frequent. It's very common to experience it this way. And the more times you go through this, and then you laugh about it at the end, and the more times you actually see later that it didn't happen what you were afraid of. You had no evidence for it, that it was just, thoughts associated with the sensate raw experience of fear, the easier it becomes not to react and not to act basically on the inaccurate beliefs and the stories that come up during this moments. Okay, yes. So it is possible to actually not only imagine that something is happening, but it's even possible to hear something. It's even possible to see it in your visual field. So the mind can distort reality not only at the level of thought, but only on the level of perception, even, right? It doesn't happen very frequently, but it happens with some people with schizophrenia or psychosis, and it also happens with to people on psychedelic trips. So sometimes it happens to people just due to exposure to transmission. Like, for example, I had people looking me into my eyes for a long time and reporting, like, not too long, like maybe 15-20 minutes in complete silence, and reporting how my face started literally morphing in their visual field, and they saw a smiling face, like a face of a clown, then an angry face, a menacing face. So the mind can actually, in certain circumstances, usually it doesn't, but in certain circumstances, it can distort the visual and auditory field. And when it comes to thoughts and ideas about reality, that's super, super easy. Just as a response to the energetic emotional experience, the intense energetic emotional experience that is currently present. So that's why the main form of practice that I am teaching is always take attention away from the mind into the raw sensate experience, which is difficult to accept, which is difficult to be with. As you go through it, you see for what you experience to have been an illusion, and there's a relief. Okay. Elliot is saying, I meditate with very dark and emotional metal music. Huh. I feel it brings out deep parts of my inner world that is hard to see without it. Is this a good thing to do? Uh, I don't see why not. So if there are many people who like dark music, I mean, like there's dark side trance, for example. I personally never liked metal, but I certainly had my affinity for some sometimes for darker electronic music. Uh, from my perspective, the goal of all music when it comes to meditation is to let you connect deeper to your heart and to let you feel more what you need to feel. So if for you very dark and emotional metal music helps you do that, it helps you reconnect. I think it's totally fine. So uh, when I think that you will just kind of naturally grow out of it as the things that it currently helps you reconnect to are risen to the level of consciousness and felt and experienced. Just like I grew out of actually most music in meditation. So there was like after some years, there was a period when I stopped wanting to listen to any music in meditation. But before that, I loved them for precisely the same reason that you are describing, which is it helped me connect deeper to the heart and deeper to emotion and allow to experience whatever I needed to experience. So I don't think there is anything wrong with it fundamentally, for as long as you keep meditating and it helps you also. Um, it also helps you. Uh, as you reconnect emotionally to the things that were suppressed, uh, it the you should be getting some form of insight about what was really going on. Some form of lightness and some form of insight, deeper understanding of yourself, deeper understanding of your psyche, more acceptance about what happened in the past. So if these things are happening, there's really nothing wrong with listening to dark heavy metal music. I mean, not that many people would do that. So, but to each their own. Not many people listen to dark psytrance as well. Okay, what is your experience with scary illusions? What did you fear that sounded absurd, yet you went through it? What did you fear? Oh, so with me, it was uh, I think that I already mentioned like a few examples before. So at different stages of the path, especially on the secular trips, but sometimes even without them, I would have uh, strange uh, narratives, so to speak, that would explain the fear that I am going through, right? So as I mentioned, sometimes it felt like everybody's watching me. The trees are looking at me, or the animals are looking at me. Everybody's looking at me funny. I had a feeling that someone is gonna come and do something, like maybe some authorities or some other people, or uh, criminals. So it was about the fear that I was experiencing at the moment, but the mind was giving me the narrative. And the interesting thing about those narratives, there was also a scary narrative about cancer. The interesting thing about those narratives actually is which I invite you to notice, is how culturally conditioned they are, right? So there's a lot of talk about cancer in our culture, right? So then as you watch TV, uh, uh, usually when something bad happens, right? So it's either something bad happens to you because criminals are did something, or if you're a criminal yourself, then it's police, right? So we watch a lot of videos, we watch a lot of movies where bad things happen to people at the hands of either criminals or authorities. So if if I uh, if I lived in a different circumstance, a much more kind of uh, sorry, I need to hold on. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, so a much more natural narrative, if I lived closer to nature, would be, that some bear or a wolf would hunt me down and kill me, or it's about to attack me. Some predator is about to attack me. But I never had those narratives because I was, I was never exposed to this part of life. So those narratives are very culturally conditioned. They're basically what the mind is learned to associate with fear and with danger. And then when fear comes, in the spiritual sense, it's the fear of actually what you're about to see, but the mind misinterprets it as the danger to you, as the danger to your body, and so it tries to find the reason in the immediate reality around you to explain what the danger is. Okay. Elliot is asking, what is the last chapter in the Book of Sadness? I don't know, actually. I still get sad, right? So, like, I still get sad from time to time, and when I take a really large dose of LSD, for example, I can cry for a few minutes. So I don't know what the last chapter in the Book of Sadness is. It's certainly a very long book, and there are a lot of chapters. There's lots of sadness, of course, about death. There's lots of sadness about how people treat each other. There is lots of sadness about all the billions of people that are living in the state of delusion. There's lots of sadness about how every single act of violence or callousness or inhumanity behind how behind every single act like this there's a crying heart. There's a lot of sadness about one's past, about the childhood of most people and how neglected most people are from the perspective of love. How there are lots of chapters in this book. I cannot tell you where the last one is. I mean, you'll have to find it out for yourself. Okay. So okay, I have some more questions, and we also have a person in the studio. His name is Tilak. But before I come to them, I would like to ask a couple of things. So first of all, I think I already posted the link to my Discord server, which you can join and participate in our group Satsangs, which are quite different than this. I already mentioned that. Also, I would like to ask you to support us by using this link to donate with Antidote. So we are a registered 501c3 nonprofit, so your donations will be tax deductible if you're in the United States. If you already do donate, we especially it's especially helpful if it's a recurrent donation, even if it's not a lot. If you already do donate and you set up a recurrent donation, we're very, very deeply grateful for you. So these donations help us to create more content like this. It also help me to take meetings with people who cannot afford to pay. So once again, thank you very much. If you support us, it really means a lot. But if you don't, I would ask you to consider it, even if it's not a lot, even if it's a little bit, even if it's like $10 a month or something like this. It could still help us a lot if we get more people to do that. So yes, there's also this QR code which you can scan, and it's going to take you to the same link. And also, I would like to post a link if you wish to schedule one-on-one session with me. I would also like to post this link. So this is the link. It's also on the website. So in one-on-one sessions, I do a bunch of things. We can do direct transmission, just looking at each other in silence. It works much better in person, but it works over video too. I can also guide you in meditation, or we can have an inquisitive conversation about your psyche, about the false beliefs. We call it radical inquiry. That's usually a more emotional, more intense form of inquiry that is very relieving. So we can do one of those things. Again, I invite you to come to our private Discord Satsangs too. All right, so that is what I wanted to announce, and I still have a few questions, and we have Tilak. So, hey man.
Hey, Artem.
Hey,
How's it going?
good. How are you?
I'm good. I have this experience that I've been having, and I've noticed that I've been having. Um, so I'll probably just describe the experience and then maybe ask like a general question around it. So I'm 31 years old now, and I don't have a job. I'm pretty much broke. Um, and I feel, or at least I think I feel pretty okay with that. Like I feel like life is still beautiful. I'm having a good time. I feel at peace for the most part. But when I have to interact with like normal, like more normal people that like have a job and like that are in that flow of things, it almost feels like I have to feign a kind of sadness because that's what they expect out of me. Because like, oh, like you don't have a job, oh, like that kind of thing. Like it almost feels like I like fit into what I expect them to perceive from me, if that makes any sense.
It does. Yeah. Why
Okay.
do you do that?
Huh?
Why do you do that?
Yeah, that's I guess that's the question. It's like what I'm finding is that like there is a natural impulse to like fit into that, and it requires a deeper level of like presence and consciousness to stay with what feels true to me rather than that habit of like fitting into what they're expecting. So yeah, that's the experience I wanted to like describe. Yeah, so I think it's a habit. When you ask me why do I do that, I think it's a habit. Some kind of,
But you don't like it, right?
I think at a certain point in my life, it served me because it makes
Right.
interactions more frictionless, right? Because
Yep.
like, you satisfied their expectation.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. But now
So
you're becoming aware that how you kind of out of this habit, how you uh, restrain yourself and tell them what you think they expect to hear instead of what is actually true for you.
yeah,
Instead of saying, you know what, I actually love it.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't have any money. I'm kind of like a bum, but I love it.
yeah.
You know,
It's
I have so much free time, man. Yeah, I don't have any money. Yeah, I don't have a car, but I have so
yeah,
much free time. I love it. It's awesome. I actually enjoy it this way. You go, "Oh, yeah, maybe I'll get a job later." You know what I
yeah,
mean? So, so kind of you are afraid of something, obviously, right? So when this kind of automatic reaction comes up, and usually it's usually what we're afraid of. Almost all fear comes down to the fear of judgment of others, right?
Yeah.
Right. So when kind of you notice yourself to automatically portray a certain behavior that is inauthentic to you, see if you can make a pause at this moment, right? And say what you really think. You might be surprised also. Yes, maybe some people will judge you, but you might be surprised how often we only assume how judgmental they would be.
Okay.
In either case, it would be good, right? Either you see that you were expecting judgment that didn't come, or you actually received judgment that you were afraid of. In either case, it would be good for you.
Yeah. When you say what you really think, in that moment, there is that like underlying feeling of peace that was there beforehand, and then there's like the habit pattern of the thought that
Right.
like makes me, satisfy their expectations. So it's like I have to sort of dig underneath that habit pattern to actually access, that authenticity.
Yeah, you have
So
to notice it. Basically, what the way that those automatic patterns and habits reveal themselves is that first we start noticing it in retrospect. Like we automatically did this, and then like maybe even next day or like in a few hours we're like, why did I do that? I've it wasn't like really true. It wasn't like really authentic, you see. But they're automatic. They ingrained, right? So it's good that you have noticed it in retrospect. That's already good, right? That means that you're much more likely to notice it much quicker.
Yeah.
Next time. Every time you notice it in retrospect, it's a little bit easier to notice it quicker next time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's like the part of me that says, oh, like, who cares if they think you're a bum? Just like fit into their expectations so that it's a more frictionless interaction. But at the same time, like, that's not why I want to change. Like, I want to change just because it doesn't feel authentic. Like,
That's right. Because you see, it is frictionless for them, maybe, but it's not frictionless for you. Because for your authenticity, for you, if it feels like you're pretending, right, to you, it creates friction.
Yeah.
And it's actually an assumption that it's a frictionless interaction. I mean that it makes interaction more frictionless for them. You see, you might be kind of assuming that they would necessarily be very judgmental. You see, it might be that there's the fear is coming from your own also remaining judgment that this is bad. Maybe they would envy you.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how we're saying. Like you see how the mind is trying to like predict other people, not to get in trouble with them.
Yeah, I could see that.
So when you notice next time, when you do that, do something else. Do something that is more honest. Do something that is more authentic to you. Say something that is more true to you, and the body will probably react. And it's okay. Just let it react.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. All right, it was good talking to you. Okay, all right. So we have a few more questions. Okay, Kino says, I also do it and it helps bring up stuff for me too. I think it's in relationship to heavy metal music. Even yeah. Okay, so see, you're not the only one. Okay. Oh, Corn says, do you believe in fasting, say, from food or eliminating distractions like our phones can benefit someone with spiritual path? Yes, certainly. I mean, absolutely. So, eliminating distractions can benefit somebody from the spiritual path. If you use food to distract yourself, if you use food as a kind of uh, a craving for pleasure to distract yourself from whatever you need to be with at the moment, uh, then yes, it could be used in the same way, just as phones. Fasting generally has more benefits than this. I think there's some evidence that we eat too much and too frequently for the optimum gut health. I'm not an expert on that. I can certainly it, it I can certainly see that there's some truth to that. We are live in the world of complete abundance and overindulgence when it comes to food. So uh, so fasting not only can have a kind of spiritual benefit as eliminating distractions, but it can also have physical benefit. But I myself never fasted. I am not an expert in this. I don't know how to do this. So that's just kind of I don't teach it because I don't know it. So if you want to do fasting, do your own research. I don't have and be careful, obviously, but I don't have much to be reasonable. I don't have much to say. Okay, so I'm interested in your perspective on feeling the cycles of the moon and nature. Do energetic shifts happen in tandem with everybody else in practice, like Qigong and feeling Qi? Uh, from my perspective, all energy that you feel in the body is unresolved energy, basically. So I don't feel any energetically different in the body with full moon or no moon. I don't even feel uh, energetically different in the body in nature or in a populated city or with good people, with bad people. I mean, with people who are bad willing towards me. Of course, I would be careful, and there would be like an understanding, right? So be careful with those people. But it's not like I feel some bad energy kind of washing the body. So from my perspective, which is not to say, for example, that the external circumstances does not affect uh, the level of energy in the body in the kind of on a macro level, right? So I'm not talking the energy that you can that you can sense, but kind of where animals will have circadian rhythm. If days are much shorter, like during the winter, like for example during the winter, uh, I prefer kind of more hearty food, more caloric food. In the summer, I prefer lighter food. So it's not like to say that, or probably if I lived in if I lived in the city, I certainly would notice continuous noise. I don't like that. So I'm not talking about like generally environment not affecting the body. Of course, it does affect the body. There's no question about it. But I meant like on an immediate energetic level, like you go into a place, for example, and oh, you feel immediately like there's some energy, or like if there's a high full moon or no moon, you feel the energy from that moon. So from my perspective, this feeling on this kind of immediate bodily level is coming from the associations, and is fundamentally still coming from remaining suffering. So again, right? It's not to say that the moon doesn't affect the earth at all. I mean, it does, obviously, through tides and light, but affecting a person on this kind of energetic level, the immediately obvious energetic level, I think is coming from suffering. At least that was my experience. Okay, finally, follow up. How can I stay anchored in my authenticity when the fear of retaliation and social punishment tempts me to retreat back into my old performative self? That's the core question, actually, isn't it? You know? How can I stay anchored in my authenticity when the fear of retaliation and social punishment tempts me to retreat back into my old performative self? That's the core question of spirituality, you know. It's very difficult. That's basically, to answer this question, that's basically, it's equivalent. How can I dissolve my ego? That's the same question. So it's very difficult to give specific advice, but you will notice that being authentic is intrinsically rewarding, even though it can get scary. There's some value, for example, in doing inquiry. You can do inquiry with yourself about what you are scared of, and see, you can imagine the situation. You can inquire what exactly you're afraid is going to happen. And oftentimes in meditation, the fear will arise. Of course, it's not the same as immediately reacting, right? As we discussed, the patterns are kind of immediate unconscious reactions, and so you usually see them somewhat later. But the practices, they tend to kind of, the less you are afraid and resistant to criticism, to judgment of other people, the less you're resistant to, let me put it this way, the less you're resistant to the emotion that arise from criticism and judgment to other people, the less automatic your behavior is to try to avoid it, right? So from that perspective, exposure generally helps, and even inquiry about what you're afraid of and how would they feel if they said this and this, in meditation is also some level of exposure, even though it's not a real life. It's an imagined scenario, but you still might tap into the same emotions that are difficult for you. And then kind of so any forms of spiritual practice, so meditation, radical honesty, practice of inquiry, somatic forms of practices, psychedelics, like any form of spiritual practice ultimately makes you freer in this way. But in life, it's also very important to practice in life. What tends to happen is that you start noticing how you succumb, or how you aggress, for example, if you're on the other part of this equation, and you tend to become tired of it. You tend to become kind of disappointed of it, disgusted of it at some time, and every time you notice it, it becomes a little easier to notice it in the future. And so, but if you can, if you can stop yourself before you do that, and work through the fear or anxiety or some discomfort in real time, and respond how you want, then from authenticity, from an open heart rather than from fear, then it's good. So it's a good direction of practice. It will happen sooner or later with years, but there's no like one response that I could give that will solve it once and for all. It's a continued process. Okay, so let me see if I have more questions. So Patrick says, I have a question about emotional reactions in daily life. Sometimes when I'm driving and someone cuts off or behaves carelessly, a brief moment of anger arises at me. It passes quickly. Okay. In your experience, does complete inner peace remain even in such situations? In my experience, yes. Or can emotions like anger still arise, but without identification or outward reactions? Yeah, of course. I mean, it's you can describe the process of spiritual transformation is you go from a place where these reactions and emotions literally controlled your life and literally ran your life, and you thought it was you, to the place where they arise and they still painful, but you can be with them, and then they arise without much resistance. And then those of them that are not exaggerated or not relevant to the situation, then they stop arising at all. Right. So it's a journey. And there's a spectrum. So then Patrick says, and in more intense moments, is there ever still expression at all? I'm trying to understand whether awakening means the total absence of these impulses or simply a different relationship to them. I think you have answered your own question. So in your current view, it's a different relationship to them, right? Ultimately, a lot of things I can't say to it. I cannot comment about every situation, right? But ultimately, a lot of things that could be described as just changed relationship with them, ultimately, through accepting them and through experiencing them, they will no longer arise. I cannot tell you which ones are more natural to you, which ones are less natural to you, which ones are coming from your conditioning. I don't have any details, right? But for example, the other person's judgment, other person's opinion about you, right? So, like, for example, Adyashanti also said that in true non-self, insults, they don't arise any unpleasant emotion. Like, most of these impulses to act, they're coming from inner pain, right? So quite a lot if we're like being very strict, then quite a significant amount of impulses that are coming from inner pain are completely dissolved further down the road. But it starts with a changing relationship to them. It starts with allowing them. It starts with investigating them. So I think that your question fundamentally is also about, how far am I on the spiritual path, and if there's more for me to go. And yes, of course there is. So Blue, many questions at the end of the Satsangs. I mean, I would, 1, 2, 3, 4. It often happens. I would appreciate it if the attendance was more not skewed to the time that I have to quit. I think many of you just kind of come after an hour or so. Okay, let's see. Is judging people always bad, or are there some situations where it's okay to judge others? I actually wouldn't even say that judging people is bad, because you see, judging people as bad is self-judgment. So it's the transformation that is only possible through love. And so the very first thing that needs to happen is you need to stop yourself for judging. You need to stop judging yourself for being judgmental. Because the only reason that you are being judgmental is because there is pain in you, there is discomfort, there is discontent in you. You see, and that creates judgment in the mind, either of yourself or of other people. And so, what oftentimes happens even is that it actually might even help to let the mind judge other people in order to get deeper in touch with the emotion that is being repressed, right? So a good direction is when your mind is judging, to ask yourself, how am I feeling about it? Where is my discomfort here? And see if you can reconnect deeper to the emotion that you're experiencing about the situation. And as we do that, it actually helps sometimes to vent about the situation. And then once we actually experience what we need to experience, then it helps us open up to a different perspective, because usually judgmental perspective is a very rigid perspective. It's also there, as we discussed today in the beginning, it's also there to explain what it is that you're feeling, just like with fear. It can be there to explain your anger, for example, but anger itself is a difficult thing. And so once you truly process it, then your mind can open up to include the perspective of another person, for example. Okay, Carlo says, "Dear Artem, I had a big shift in a couple months ago, and it was very liberating finding awareness. But now, even this has even deepened, and the void has opened up, and the sense of center is gone." Wonderful. Very happy for you. Keep going. Congratulations. Center is gone. That's great. How did you process your emotions in a fraction of what it takes most people to process theirs? Okay, I will respond to this later. So you continue. "This is quite remarkable. Everything is so empty and nothing belongs to me anymore. And reactivity has dropped. It's beautiful." Wonderful. Beautiful. "Also, there are moments where fear arises because the aloneness and lack of orientation is unusual. Like there is literally nothing here in the sense of an I. It is so different." Yep. Yes, it is very different. It's good to kind of sink deeper into this state, the state of emptiness, the state of centerlessness. That's wonderful, and we're happy. Yes, fear will still arise, and some other emotions will still arise, but the sense of I, the kind of this binding point of the experience, so to speak, is no longer there, which is in itself beautiful. It's very spacious. It's wonderful. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. So now back to this question, and then I'll wrap up. You say, how did you process your emotions in a fraction of what it takes most people to process theirs? If you are talking about processing the repressed emotion from the past, I mean, what the spiritual transformation is about, I wouldn't say that. No, I mean, there is no trick to process it faster than someone else. I was just very determined. I didn't have to work. I had the financial means so I could stay at my house. My wife was helping me, and I didn't do much else. I just meditated and used psychedelics. So as I say in my responses, from the first like 2 or 3 years, I cried pretty much every day. There was like tons of fear and lots of tears, and I experienced lots of rage and other things. So I don't possess anything that makes me somewhat more kind of proficient in processing this. No, and I had a lot to process, really a lot. I had a very difficult childhood. It was just a matter of determination and time and being able to focus on this and not needing to do much else. So no, I'm not unique in this regard. I'm just, okay. White Red said, can you show your cat? Actually, I had 2 cats, and both of them are now dead. I think the red one died about a year and a half or 2 years ago. So I had him for like over 10 years. Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have any cats. We bought a cat tree, so we want to get a cat, but also Katya has injured her foot, and we kind of put this on hold for now. All right, that's it. So you say thank you, the other person. Okay, so that's it. That was it for today. Thank you all very much for coming. I really appreciated your questions. I really appreciated you visiting in person. So again, please, I forgot to add, please like this video, please subscribe to my channel. That actually helps a lot. So like, subscribe, comment, share, the usual. We're also on other platforms. If you're not following us, we're on Instagram and TikTok and even Twitter. Yes, so please join our Discord community. Please schedule one-on-one sessions with me. Don't forget about the May retreat in Northern California, so May 15th to 18th. And I will see you in a couple of weeks for the public YouTube Discord. To the members of the Discord community, we will have a private Discord satsang this Saturday. All right, so bye-bye. Love you all very much. Best of luck to you on the spiritual path. Bye.